Hi guys, this is Rob with Deluks Gaming. Welcome to episode 1 of my newest series, Kerbal Space Program. I am so excited to do this. I've been holding off because there are so many other people doing Kerbal Space Program, but I thought I would jump in and kind of add my own flavor to this. You know, it's really, I just love this game. It is so good. But on the other side of it, I can't offer you all of the physics that goes along with it. There's lots of people that do that online. Lots of YouTubers that will offer you all the technical pieces of the physics that are involved, and I love them, and I watch them all the time. Unfortunately, if that's what you're looking for, you may not get it here. You're gonna get a lot of me, which is putting stuff together, hoping for the best, launching it into space, and trying to make it work. Now, my goal here with this series is I want to do this. I want to do a career mode. The new career mode for 0.24 first contract patch. I'm really dying to try it. Now, I've played with it, but I haven't really done a serious game. That's what I'm hoping to do here. I'm not going to use the uber scary settings that they have with the game now so that you can't revert to launch and stuff. Though that absolutely terrifies me. It would be a really short series, and you know, I'm all about doing hardcore survival stuff. So the career mode kind of appeals to me. If I run out of money because I've done something stupid, you know what? The series is over. That's cool. But I'm not going to make it so much that I can't save it. I know you're saying to yourself, well, if you can save it, you know, you're never going to fail. But I'm pretty honest when it comes to, okay, you know, for example, here's a good example. So I've actually launched a ship into space, and I try to land on the moon. I don't quite make it. I can't revert to launch at that point. The only thing I would be able to do is reload a save. I'm not going to reload a save. I got to try and save my Kerbal or something fancy like that, right? And of course, I lose some money involved in building that ship. So my goal is to try and stay square, and the only time I'm going to reload from a save is if something really stupid happens. But I'm not going to play stupid here. I'm not going to go crazy here trying to make sure that I never, ever make a mistake. Because I'm going to make mistakes. I haven't played enough of this game not to make a mistake. I guarantee you we're going to fly into the ground at some point in time. Kerbals will die. It's going to be chaos. Okay, so let's get a game started here. What are we going to call this? Let's call this Deluks Space Program. I guess. You're all like, oh, it's so been done. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so like I said, alright, here we go. I hope you're not expecting perfection, because it's not going to happen. I'm going to give you a little bit, for those people that are looking for a little bit of tutorial, I apologize for those people that are not looking for a bit of a tutorial, but I'm going to go over a little bit of what I know. I don't know a lot, trust me. I'm absolutely clueless about most of the physics and most of the pieces of this game, and I'm learning as I go too. But I am going to offer a little bit of a tutorial for those people just joining us that have never played Kerbal Space Program, or that don't own Kerbal Space Program and that are going to be purchasing it sometime soon and would like to have that information. So, without further ado, we're just going to go over what we've got here. So we've got our vehicle assembly building. We are going to be spending a lot of time in here. This is where we put together our craft that we're going to launch. We have our tracking station. So this is where we'd go if we were looking for one of the ships that we already have in space and we want to go back and connect to it. Our research and development, this is where we use our research points, spend research to build up our tech so that we can have more parts. This is where, let me describe it first. Astronaut Complex, this is where we get all of our new recruits that will unfortunately probably not make it that long with me behind the wheel. This is our space plane hangar. Never actually built a space plane before, so interesting. Someday we may experience that. I don't know. Let's go back here. And this is our mission control, where we will get contracts and get paid for doing the work that we do. So as it stands right now, we have 10,000 Kerbal space credits. I have no idea what kind of currency that is. This is our reputation meter. No idea how that works. Like I said, I haven't played a lot of First Contract. So, and then our science points, which we will use to buy all sorts of cool parts that we can or the research to buy the parts, and then the parts we put on our ship with the money. It all makes sense in the end. Try to keep up. I'm talking to myself. All right, so let's get started. Oh, and of course our launch pad. Okay, so let's get started. First off, I think we really need to just get a few science points. We're not going to worry about money right this second. We just got to get a couple science points. So if you're just joining us, and like I said, you've never played Kerbal Space Program, or you're looking for a little bit of information, something I always do, even before first contract, when they just had the science career, I would just launch a pod exactly like this, so that I can get a little bit of science points to spend on our first propulsion setup. In other words, we don't have much for parts, so we could theoretically launch a little ship and maybe make it 5,000 meters and then drop to the ground and be okay. But without spending any money, I can just take a pod, throw Jebediah in here, and Jebediah can come out and he can take a crew report and get 1.5 science right on the launch pad without doing anything. And then, of course, Jebediah can leave extra vehicle activity. I think that's what it stands for, EVA. So if you go down in the bottom right and go EVA over top of Jebediah, he will leave the spacecraft. Yay, Jebediah. All right, and he is going to take an EVA report, which will give me 5.6 science. He says it's the most precarious situation because he's precariously balanced on the edge of the pod. And of course, Jebediah can come down and take a look around. Hold on, Jeb, come on. There you go. Jeb. For some reason I can't. Why is he walks funny? That's funny. Okay, so right. So when you're walking, W is forward, D is it's different, because if you're playing usual the standard FPS type thing, normally W is forward, and then if you hit, oh, I guess it does work that way. Okay, so you can actually go directly left by hitting A, directly right by hitting D, and you'll walk. In other words, you don't have to push forward or anything. And then W, you can walk directly forward, and then S, walk directly back. And then if I hold W, which is forward, and then hit D, I'll go on a diagonal, and then of course S, diagonal, etc. Now, eventually you can make it out to space, and he can leave his ship and use his little jetpack to fly around. I'm not very familiar with doing that, so we are going to do that at some point in time. I'm hoping that we do not screw that up. I'm sure we will. No problem. So while I'm on the launch pad is considered a biome. What does that mean? Well, it's an area of interest scientifically to the Kerbals. So he can actually take, so I can do another EVA report, extra vehicle activity report. But before I do that, we're going to store the one that we've already got in the pod, and then go try it, do an EVA report. Oh, I get 2.4 science. For him to say it wasn't entirely necessary to use a suit, probably true, Jeb. I'm sorry. And he's going to take a surface sample. A surface sample, yes, of the launch pad. I know that's kind of weird, but we get 9 science for that. That's really awesome. So we're going to keep all that data. We're going to go back in our little pod, F to grab, and F to board, and we are done. We're going to recover the vessel, and we should get about, I don't know, like 20 science, something like that. 18 science. Didn't cost us a penny. We have 18 science that we can already spend in our research and development. Okay, so next it says we recovered some funds, but we have the same funds as what we started out as, and Jebediah is safe and sound, and we earned 25 reputation. No idea what the reputation does for you exactly. I haven't watched a lot of videos on this yet. Like I said, some of this is going to be trial and error. Okay, so we have 18.5 science points. We can go into our science tree, and so we have some basic parts already. Well, we want more. Let's get some fuel tanks, and our first science part, which is our mystery goo containment, and a stack decoupler, which will allow us to build multi-stage rockets, which is absolutely necessary. So we don't have enough to get much more, but that's okay. This gives us a couple pieces that I really, really want to perform our next move. Alright, so let's go back to our vehicle assembly. So we've got our pod, it's ready to go. Our first launch was a huge, astounding success. I'm so thrilled. Let's do something bigger and better. Oh, before we hit this, we want to go get some contracts. So now, we have to watch our money now. So I want to be sure that every time we launch, we're earning a little bit of money so that we don't get, stopped. We run out of money in our program and we're done, right? So we're going to take on some contracts. So the first one, launch a new vessel. So all we got to do is launch a vessel, just launch a vessel to officially start the space program. I think that's a brilliant idea. They want us to reach 5,000 meters into the sky. No problem. Escaping the atmosphere should not be a problem. I think the stars, it's saying 3 stars. So 3 stars for difficulty? Prestige exceptional. I think it's the prestige. Reputation. They get lots of reputation for doing this. If we escape the atmosphere, I don't think that'll be a problem. Anything above 70,000 meters into space. Okay. And orbit Kerbin. Requested to achieve a stable orbit around Kerbin. So it must encircle the planet without dropping back into the atmosphere and ensure minimum altitude periapsis of 70,000 meters. There's going to be a lot of words in here that I use all the time, but don't completely understand. You're like, why are you doing a video on this? Well, you know, I just because I totally don't understand something doesn't mean I can't do it. There's a lot of really awesome science you can learn from doing this. They've done a fantastic job on maintaining such a great model for physics. And there's some excellent YouTubers that are so good at explaining the physics and the math. I am not that guy. It's not that I don't care, because I do, and it's not that I don't understand it to a limited degree, because I do. I am not the teacher of that math. There are way better YouTubers for that. Specifically, if you're interested in the physics of Kerbal Space Program, seek out Scott Manley, Scottmanley, I believe, on YouTube. He does some amazing Kerbal Spacecraft videos with all the physics you could possibly want to go along with it, so that, you know, you've got the whole piece. What I can offer you is maybe a little bit of fun here, and a little bit of trial and error, and probably some fails, but in the end, we are going to have fun, and I'm going to have fun, even if you're not. Just kidding. I'm hoping you have fun too. So what we've done is, the first thing I always do on my little pod is I add a parachute. Parachutes are found in, right here, the Parachutes M16 parachute. It attaches nicely, snugly to the front of your pod. Next, we're going to add some of these awesome little science pieces, which are the mystery goo containment units. Now, when you're adding them, of course, you want to have them on either side. If you do not do that, your ship is not going to be balanced properly, and it will actually lean one direction or another. So you want to have them kind of evenly placed, like so. And you can do this with symmetry mode. Of course, you can set it up to have as many as, I think, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, on your ship. Absolutely ridiculous, because we don't need that many. Not for this trip. I'm hoping to actually make it... we could use 4. 4 is not a bad idea. Let's throw 4 on there, because we can certainly make use of 4. Now, I don't want to block Jebediah in there so that he can never get out, but because it looks like he wouldn't make it out of there, would he? I don't know that it matters. Probably doesn't. Let's just do 3. Let's do 3. Perfect. There, it just looks better. There. That looks pretty good. And we should be able to make use of all 3 of those. So yeah, each one of these you can get a little bit of science depending on where you are, and every biome on the planet offers you more science. So in other words, every time I'm over top of, on grassland, or the first time I'm on top of grassland, I can use this, open this up and get some science. I can do a crew report, I can do an AVA report, I can take a surface sample, and the same goes for the highlands or the mountains and the ocean and all of those parts on Kerbin. On Kerbin itself, we can get all that information. And it's the same with other planets and moons. Sorry, I should be talking and working at the same time. Same with other planets and moons. They all have different biomes, so you can get tons and tons of science from landing on the same planet or moon multiple times. Alright, so we are going to... Now, these are the FLT 400 fuel tanks. They're very expensive at this point of the game. Now, we were given a little bit of grant money in advance when we took those contracts, but these are quite expensive. But you know what? I really want to make it into the atmosphere, so we're going to use a bunch of them. And... oh, we forgot one very important thing. We want to have a stage. So we are actually going to have a stage here so that we can actually drop this, all these fuel tanks before we come crashing down to the planet again. All right, and we are, let's see, what else do we have that we can use? We don't really need, we don't need to communicate, so we're not going to worry about this radio transmitter. We don't need that right now. And we are going to throw... sorry, guys. Do we want... you know... Jesus. You know, I think... we don't have any small engines right now. That's the only problem. We could throw on some solid fuel boosters. Maybe we'll just do one. There's some really creative ways that you can put boosters. These solid fuels. So basically... these suckers here versus these suckers here. So your solid fuel booster is a solid piece of fuel. You cannot adjust the rate at which it burns fuel, so you'll always be at max. And once it's dead, it's dead. There's nothing you can do with it other than dump it. Whereas these FLT 400 fuel tanks and these other ones here, they actually are filled with fuel and they drain down into the engine, and you can actually adjust your speed when you're using them. So these are... but the advantage to these solid fuel boosters is that they're less than half the price of the bigger fuel tanks. So a lot of times what you can do... now there's some creative ways you can use them. You can actually stack them like this and blow them up as you use them. So in other words, I fire this rocket, I wait until this rocket's down to just a little bit of fuel, then I fire this one and it blows this one up. And then I keep moving forward. It's kind of like cheating to me, so I don't like to do that. So we are not going to do that. We are actually going to add another stage here so that we can actually jettison this sucker when we're done using it and then move on to our FLT 400s. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's a very long rocket. Well, it's not very long. It's pretty long. It's pretty long, but I think that should do the trick. Let's go to our launch pad. So we have 4 goals. We want to make it off the launch pad. Crossing our fingers. We want to... ooh, that's... yeah, nobody breathe, because this thing will fall down. We want to launch. We want to get at least 5,000. We want to get 5,000 meters. We want to break the atmosphere. I think it's 70,000 meters. And then we want to get into orbit around Kerbin. I don't know if we can accomplish all that with this size of rocket, but we're going to give it the good old college try. All right, so... ready. We are going to hit T on our keyboard. That loads up our SAS, which is another term for cheat mode that keeps us stable. And we are going to throttle up to max using our shift. Control goes down, and then shift moves our throttle up to max. It doesn't matter with the solid fuel booster, but we're going to be going from the solid fuel to our regular fuel tanks, so we want to have that maxed out. And then we want to just double check our staging. So yeah, we've got a problem with our staging here. So we're going to add a new stage and make sure that our manual engine is actually after our solid fuel. Because if I tried to launch this as is like this, it's actually going to get this engine going, and it's going to get this engine going, and this engine will blow up this engine, and it's just going to be an absolute disaster. And poor Jebediah, his family is going to be devastated. So we're going to have to change that so that we've got multiple different stages there. Okay, perfect. So I think we're good to go. We've got 3 basic stages. Spacebar activates the stage that is at the bottom of the screen. So our first action now is, of course, to hit spacebar and launch our craft. Now you do use WASD to steer the craft. How it steers is magic, because there's no thrusters on the outside of the ship. So how on earth would this thing steer? They had used magic. I don't know. I just accept it. I nod and go, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Right on. So as you can see, our fuel is rapidly running out on our solid fuel, and we are going to... oh, crap. Oh, crap. Okay. I forgot to add a stage. Whoops. Okay, so let's observe mystery goo. Okay, so we got some science there, and oh, we don't need to do that. Let's do a crew report. Keep data. We're gonna. No! What? Just what the? And the Kerbal space program ends today as the rocket hits the launch pad and ends the program prematurely for all Kerbals. So, post-mortem, what just happened here? I don't want to talk about it. I forgot to add a stage in between the solid fuel. Oh, man, I think I did. I don't know why the stage was. I think I might have forgot to add a stack decoupler in between the solid fuel and our regular engine. Blast. Okay, well, we did. We won, or we completed one contract. We were able to launch our craft off of, and this is why you have an entire science team. I can't rely on Kerbals to give me all the information that we need because, well, look at them. They don't even look, they can't even look forward. They're looking in opposite directions. They don't look like the brightest chaps. So, let's do observe another mystery goo on top of the landing pad. Oh yeah, we got 3 science for that. Awesome, and I think we're maxed out for science here. So we're gonna try it again. Well, it's not a total failure. We did get a little bit of money from just launching off the pad. Hey, yay! And we got 37 science. That's awesome. And we actually made a little bit of money. Well, maybe didn't make so much as... Yeah, we didn't really make much money at all. Okay, so let's try that again. Actually, let's just take a look at what we did that we did wrong. All right, first of all... Well, there's your problem. Okay, so solid fuel booster. There was nothing in between the solid fuel booster and the regular engine, so I couldn't separate the two. So when I hit the space, well, you saw me move stuff around there because I'm like, uh-oh. So that's what I intended. Of course, let's just do this again. You know, we've got the signs that we could go add some more parts to our repertoire, but I want to prove that I'm not a complete failure. Okay, so let's try that again. Launch. Okay. You know, the Kerbals are a lot like me. I look kind of funny too. Alright, T for cheat mode, throttle up, and spacebar to launch. There we go. Alright, so WASD on the keyboard does steer your ship, but generally you don't, unless you're off balance and you need to recenter or something, you don't really want to touch the keyboard until you are at a point, usually about 10,000 meters in the sky, and you want to roll your ship over 45 degrees on the 90-degree vector. If that makes no sense, I apologize. Alright, that's what I intended. So all I wanted to do was have that solid fuel booster just get us off the launch pad, just give us a slight fuel advantage. I don't know that it did, because we were so heavy and there was that little stagger in between letting that one go and the other one. I don't know if it was worthwhile, but it made me feel better. Alright, so we're making progress. We're almost at 5,000 meters above Kerbin. Jebediah looks like he's having a freaking blast. He's like, yay! Yes, I love this game. It is so much fun. The Kerbals, they seem kind of mindless. I don't know that they actually came up with the idea to reach space. It seems like somebody just handed them all the parts and they kind of went, oh, okay. Okay, at 10,000 meters, we're going to roll over about 45 degrees on the 90-degree vector on the gimbal right here. And what that'll do is this way we're no longer fighting, we're not going to be fighting as badly with gravity by going straight up. We're actually starting to move with the prograde vector, which is that little symbol right there. And I'm actually going to wait. I'm going to hit about 25, and I'm going to turn off my engines. Maybe we'll do it a little bit sooner. I'm going to turn off my engines. We've got a little bit of a moment to wait. We've got lots of fuel left. If you hit M, it'll go to the outside, the grander view of things. And as you can see here, this little point here, the apoapsis, that is a great place to add a maneuver. I have to work fast here because I'm going to be reaching it pretty quick. So basically adding a maneuver, you're basically adding a note, sort of a, how do I put it? A reminder to activate your engine. And it's going to tell you more or less how hard you have to fire that engine to be able to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So on this maneuver, we actually just want to get into orbit, if that's possible. We should have enough fuel, I'm hoping. So hit M. I'll go into the maneuvers a little bit more at a later time. I just want to be sure that we don't miss that point. So right here it's saying in 7 seconds we need to fire our engines so that we're going 26 meters per second in a particular direction, which means right now. And that little blue point is that reminder that we just set. I don't know if any of this is making sense, but I also don't know if anybody that's watching this wouldn't really know what I'm talking about already, because I have probably played this game lots and lots. So now we're actually firing, and we're trying to reach that speed so that we can get into orbit like we had planned. Without running out of fuel. I'm just actually going to lower this down a little bit. We're going to take a look here, see where we're at. Yeah, we're probably not going to make orbit this time. We'd actually have to fire just way too much engine to be able to make it. But that's okay. Did we even make 70,000? I don't think we did. We actually didn't get up that high. We're actually falling pretty darn fast. Okay, so, well, what else did we got? Another contract complete. We reached our 5,000, which is fan-freaking-tastic. And we launched a new vessel. I thought we already got that one. Huh, okay, I guess we got to trash them, otherwise they kind of stick around. So we are actually entering the atmosphere already. Okay, so we didn't even come close to getting into orbit, but it was a more successful trip than last time. We can get rid of this sucker. Hitting spacebar gets rid of that. As far as I know, at this point in time in the game, you do not take damage from re-entering the atmosphere at such an enormous speed like we are right now. We were going like 1,600 meters per second. Ridiculous speed. But what we can do is use our mystery goo over top of the ocean. We get 7 science for that. We should be able to get a crew report over top of the ocean. I might have to get lower. Oh yeah, 3.5 science. Crew report from upper atmosphere, actually. Assessment of the situation. They record the assessment. That's what they did. They recorded the assessment. And as soon as we get a little bit lower, hold on, let's just see. Review data. What was that? So observation from upper atmosphere. The goo seems to be getting very cold now. Okay, well that's good. So this goo is kind of this interesting thing that they use for all their scientific measurement. It's really interesting. So whatever happens to the goo, they learn a lot from that, I guess. Or I don't know. Why they use goo, I don't know. Jebediah could have been a monkey at this point. Honestly, Jebediah doesn't really do much other than open his mouth and look at the world with awe and wonder. We are going to get our parachute out just in case we get chatty and we forget to launch our parachute. A lot of times at this point, you can speed up time, but you want to be careful not to have your time sped up when you actually get down low enough for your parachute to open up. Otherwise, your parachute may not open up because there are problems with the speeding up time thing. This is still a alpha, well, early access product. So some things you kind of wonder whether or not they're working 100%. Maybe that's intentional, maybe it's not. I don't know. Either way, we are almost down. And let's just see if we can do another mystery goo. No. I think we actually have to be landed in the ocean now to get some more. We probably would have been fine taking 3, but I was kind of hoping that we'd hit orbit. Oh well, that's okay. Jebediah is enjoying the trip. Okay, now we're going to speed up time. You also don't want to have... oh, right. You don't want to have your time going too fast when you hit either the ground or the ocean as well, because it can cause your ship to explode for some random reason. I don't know why. We're going to try the goo again. I think we actually have to be landed now over. So the ocean is considered a different biome, so when we land on the ocean, we should be able to get some different data. And of course, Jebediah will get to walk out, leave the vessel and take a look around, maybe take a drink of the ocean, and get some science from this actually. All right, so now we get to observe some goo. Perfect for science, excellent. And we can, Jeb, you're going to leave. Jeb, get out. EVA. And you're going to take the node. Oh, repack chute. I did not know you could repack the chute. Is that ever awesome? I just learned something about Kerbal Space Program. You can actually leave the spacecraft and repack your chute. So if you accidentally, that's amazing. So I don't know if you really use that, but you never know, right? Okay, so you can take the data. He took the data. That means we can do another crew report on the ocean. We can also do a EVA report. 5.6 science. We're actually getting a fair amount of science, even though we're kind of screwballs and whoops, I did not mean to board. I'm a screwball and I didn't really pay attention to what I'm doing. All right, so Jeb, all right, there we go. EVA report. 3.2 science, excellent. We're going to take a surface sample. 12 science from the ocean. Kerbin's water. So you've taken a sample from the Kerbin's water. It appears to dramatically increase the surface humidity of anything it touches. It's water, Jebediah. It's water. Keep the data. Jeb, try to get back into the ship. This can be challenging sometimes. More challenging when you don't understand how the keys work. F to grab. Jeb, you're gonna... How do you go back in? I forget. Oh, right. F to board. And you can do another crew report to science for Kerbin water. Excellent. I know it wasn't a totally successful trip, but it wasn't unsuccessful either. We actually lost money, though. That's why this new first contract thing is kind of difficult. I think you get paid for everything at the beginning. I don't know if you actually make money after that. So when you sign up for the contract, they give you a little bit of money to finish it, but I don't know if you get any more money when you actually successfully finish it. You do get more science and stuff when you do the science stuff. Anyway, we're up to 71 science. That's amazing. And we get some parts. We get some money back from the parts from our ship and stuff. And of course, Jebediah survived, and we got 97 reputation for that. That's wicked awesome. Well done. Well, guys, I hope you're going to enjoy this series. I know I'm really going to enjoy it. I love this game. I don't want to drag these videos out too long. I hope they're educational. I hope we have fun. And you get to see me do really stupid things like forget to attach parts to the ship and then, we fail. And once we get going here and we start to do more advanced missions and stuff, I'm going to speed up and we're going to do a little bit more video editing. For this episode, I just wanted to chat with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to have so much fun with this, and I'm hoping that someday we will actually reach some of the outer planets and, of course, hit some asteroids and, do all sorts of crazy stuff and maybe even have a little space station. I'm really excited. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, hit like. If you really like us, subscribe. Thanks a lot. We'll see you again. Jebediah.